Yeah, this is a lot of CDs, and well, I guess I should talk about them. So, on this particular program or this particular New Year, I want to try something completely different. Completely different from the completely different series that I have been going on before. Now, for this series, I want to talk about the albums I have and the memories I have about them. I mean, sure, I'm gonna have some critique about the CDs that I listen to. I mean, I've listened to all the CDs I have all the way through. I just want to show the albums I have and give the memories I have behind them. And for this particular series, I want to like two albums, uh, two albums a time is more like it because I don't want to like burn right through it. I just want to do two albums each episode of this. And yeah, I think I should call this show Albums and Memories. So the first two I have because I have a pile of CDs here, over here, and on top of this shelf over here. So without further ado, let's get to the first two on this episode. And they are Alice in Chains' Dirt and Alice in Chains' Black is Way to Blue. Now I'm just gonna start with Dirt first because well it's the older one, and even though mm, yeah I bought this, I mean I bought the Black is Way to Blue first, but this one is what I bought first. I mean this one is what I want to talk about first. Now, how I knew about Alice in Chains was through what was it called? Podcast show called Ongoing History of New Music with Alan Cross. And at one point, he used to have his entire catalog on his website, and it was exciting to me because like I'm a big fan of his, and on the radio ever since around elementary school, I like to say, where I used to stay up and listen to the radio, which I still have right now, and around 11 o'clock, I used to listen to a new episode of his show. And during high school, I used to be alone on the computer, and one day I'm like, okay, I'll like Google this show, and then I find out that his entire catalog was on his website. And up until like a few years ago, it used to be on there, but due to copyright issues, he had to take them all down. And I think he has complete set, complete CD set of that, but I don't think I can last that long because there are some episodes of his where I want to listen to, which are very enjoyable, and I can listen to all over again. But I don't think I'll listen to the entire CD set, so I'll just stick with other download. Unlike music, I want to stick with the downloading, but he got me into a lot of things, including this, Alice in Chains. So I heard of them here and there, mostly like I knew about grunge, I knew who Nirvana was, I knew who Pearl Jam was, but Alice in Chains was kind of like off my radar. I even knew who Soundgarden was. That's a bit before. Alice in Chains is like, and what happened was I ended up on Alan Cross's show. He did a top 100 memorable musical moments, and one of those moments was the death of Lane Staley, and that was how I heard my very first Alice in Chains song, which was from this album, which is called "Them Bones." And like how I felt about "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana and "Jeremy" by Pearl Jam, and to a lesser extent "Black Hole Sun" by Soundgarden. When I heard the song for the first time, which he played after that particular segment, my stomach hurt really bad because it sounded like something I've never heard before, and it was like, uh, my stomach was like, I have to use the washroom, but it was like nerve wracking, exactly a little bit worse than when I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" for the first time, and I'm like, oh, my stomach is hurting because this song is so like, it sounds so dark and like fast paced, and like eventually, like I really enjoyed it. So later on, I ended up putting on my MP3. I still have an MP3. I just don't listen to it often. I listen to I put Them Bones, and then I put Dirt on my MP3, and I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. I really enjoy this, and I bought a lot of albums after that, but I didn't really get this album until around, I'd like to say when like my second year of college, when my dad bought me this. This came with this album came in a two set. It was this and the Untitled album, which I don't really listen to often because I have other CDs I want to listen to. But anytime I want to calm down, feel something calm, I listen to that. But when I heard this for the first time, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty decent. It goes at a decent pace. It's dark, it's depressing, and I actually really enjoy this album. Like a memory for me, some memories I have for this is when I used to play Mercenaries for the PS2. Like this was still around my second year of college. I used to put this on and play Mercenaries for some very strange reason. I don't know why I decided to like play it often. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll just play it. And I actually I haven't listened to this in a well, I actually listened to this like a week ago, and it still holds up. But I actually listened to it out of like pure depression, you know, because I needed something dark to like help my mood, or not help my mood. It's just more like the same mood as I am. You know, it was again dark and very like it's about a quick 40 or 50 minute album, but you know it's fine. Sorry, water. And I really still enjoy this album mostly because it talks about the like war, depression, and anytime I wanna listen to something like it, I'm just gonna listen to this album, this entire album. I mean, occasionally I'll skip a couple of tracks because I've overplayed them a lot, and yeah, it's actually really dark. Although the problem with this album track is the back of this album is like the track list is out of order, so I don't know what I keep forgetting. Like, oh yeah, this is a great album. It's just that the track listing here is all over the place, with a few exceptions. So yeah, this is actually a pretty good album. And another album I actually really enjoyed was Black Is Way to Blue. Now, this occurred at a like this album actually came at a decent part of my life. Like this like again a couple of years after I listened to Them Bones, what happened was like I didn't get into any of my college, but everybody I knew did. And so I remember constantly listening to a Looking in View and Check My Brain constantly, and I remember how much the depression I had with it. Because I remember listening to again Looking in View, which is a 7 minute song, and I just like was really depressed. And I remember that song, and I remember me being. It was back when we still have the IBM computer, not here. It's just the one downstairs, uh, which is a spare room now. But I remember just listening to this song on repeat and like on constant repeat, and it was a pretty depressing time to say the least because yeah, I didn't get into any of the colleges, and it wasn't like I don't know. Maybe it was because it it was the thing that gravitated towards me. Like it wasn't as dark as Dirt, but it sounded pretty dark. Like I needed something long and dark, and this was before I figured maybe I should get Dirt instead. And so I was like, yeah, I should probably go for it. And eventually, I like got into college, and I still listen to a Looking in View and Check My Brain uh, up throughout throughout half of my like the first 2 or 3 months of my first year of college. And then eventually I got this album, and the memory I had for this, some of the memories I have of this, is me playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2. Like this, those two albums are pretty, like this and that game are pretty much like, yeah, I kind of want to listen to this again. Like, I'll be honest, when I heard this song for the first, when I heard this album for the first time, I'm like, I don't know. This is okay. This is okay. And then as time went on, I'm like, yeah, I'm beginning to like this more and more. And I used to think that their next album was better, but no, no. After re-listening to their other albums, like I'll get to that later. But this album actually is their best album with their new vocalist slash guitarist, and yeah, it actually goes by at a decent pace. And like another memory I have about this album is just the fact that it's man, I thought I had something, but you know, with this album and especially this album, I just like to listen to these because they have mostly the same members. It's just that in a way, it's they're sad, but in a different type of sad. Like Dirt is more depressing and filled with hopelessness, in my opinion, while Black Is Way to Blue is a lot. It has some dark moments, sure, but there are some melancholy moments and there are some softer moments, and that's why I like these two a lot because they do something different and they do it very well, and they actually give me a lot of memories to work with. And so my final thoughts for these two albums are, yeah, they're actually pretty good albums. Um, Man, I actually thought I actually had a lot more than this, a lot more to talk about here. So, maybe the next time I'll just think about a lot of things, considering I have a lot more albums to look at. So, if you want me to do more of these, you can tell me, or I could just stop doing them. You know, I mean, I'll find something else to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and find something else to do. So, thank you for looking at this, and I'm sorry if I didn't have much to say. Um, Man, I thought I did. So, until I do another one of these or something else, I'll see you later.